White resign. Incoming challenge.
Okay, let's play another game.
Game started.
Let's see. So this is in case I edit out the first game, this is a challenge match. Or a rematch. I beat him in the first game with the Sicilian Dragon where he just blundered his queen. Okay, well, let's go back to the Ruy Lopez. I've been playing a lot of Italian games, but the Ruy is an old favorite of mine. So this is all the main line, except here. That's not the main line. That is the open variation of the Ruy Lopez. So the main move here is d4, although rook e1 I believe is also playable. But the idea with d4 is to, if he takes, you open up this e file, and his rook is in trouble. I mean, his knight is in trouble because you can pin it with the rook. Okay, but he doesn't. He plays the normal move, and it's just supporting his knight. And then you can play d takes e4, e5, and get your pawn back. And now there's two moves here. There's c3 and knight d7. And there's some nuance. Yeah, this is it. Okay, if you play knight d7 first, then c3, then this move is not possible. Now, after knight d3, it is possible for, let's see if he plays that. It's actually aligned for black to take on f2 at this point. Oh, he didn't do it. Interesting. So there's a name for that attack. I'll mention it in the post-mortem if we get to that. The Dilworth attack. And it's not bad for black. He wins more than just rook and a pawn. He actually rounds up a second pawn in most lines, so he has compensation. Normally two pieces are too much to give up for a rook and a pawn. So what should I do? I can take the knight. Pawn takes bishop, pawn takes knight. I can take the knight and then move my knight. Yeah, I'll take my knight, take the knight, just get rid of this potential attack on f7, and then play knight to knight to g5 is my plan. It's protected by the bishop, so the queen can't take it. And I'm attacking on e6. So he takes there, and now this e-pawn is loose, hanging. His e-pawn is hanging. So I think this is good for white. He can play e3 here. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and then my extra pawn is kind of meaningless because it's this double e-pawn is one of those is my extra pawn. Oh yeah, my e-pawn was hanging too. Okay, we're all the pawns are hanging. so let's take. Okay, so I take it back. I don't think white's doing particularly well here. It's probably about even. Queen to h5 is an idea, but actually he would have been able to play bishop to. He would have been able to protect the knight with bishop to d6. Okay, so what can I do? I was thinking moving the queen because his knight here restricts my motion along this diagonal. Maybe here. Queen to c7, threatening knight g5 and queen h7 mate. Why not? A good mate threat is always worth something. Okay, so now he can get a tempo on the knight by moving his knight. Well, I wanted to go to g5 anyway. Let's just do it. I really should develop my bishop. He's a bit ahead in development, I guess, because of that. If the bishop were out of the way, then I could play rook to e1, pinning the knight, and that might be useful. Okay, so he gives me a tempo here. Where does the bishop want to go, though? Bishop here, the knight takes it. Bishop here, bishop takes it. So by the process of elimination, the bishop has to go to that square. Not too appealing. And I guess knight. Knight has to come back to f3. He was threatening to take the bishop and then take the knight. Oh, that was not a threat. I'm sorry. Take the bishop. Queen takes, defends the knight. Still. Knight protects the bishop, and now I am going to play rook to e1, rook to d1, just centralize my pieces. Okay, he's pausing to think here. What's a good move for black? I would think about doubling my rooks on the d file, so that's an idea. Think about better placement for the queen and the knight. The knight on g3 doesn't impress. Well, it's controlling these dark squares here, but and the main thing it was doing was blocking my view to the h7 pawn in this diagonal. Oh, and I do have a threat of bishop. It's not much of a threat. Bishop to g5 is an attempted skewer. He can just play f6 to block it, but maybe he doesn't want to mess up his pawns that way. Yeah, so I probably would play that. And here, actually here it's really good. He no longer has the option of playing f6 because he's put the queen on the square f6. So he's just walked into this skewer. Well, if we have a couple short games, maybe I'll upload both of them as a doubleheader. We'll see. There were some interesting moments in both of them. Yeah, so he's not going to give up. It's just the exchange after all, and he's got a higher rating than me, and he has a good score against me too. So he probably he's probably right not to give up. Play on and see what you can work up. So anyway, the key when you win the exchange, the key is your extra material is in the form of the rooks. So you've got to get your rooks active. Oh, I could have just grabbed another pawn there. Could have grabbed a pawn. Let's see, does he have, he doesn't have any great threats here, so let's see. No, I can't grab a pawn. He's waiting for me to grab the pawn to see if I fall for it. If I take the pawn, then bishop takes f2 check. Queen takes f2, and then he takes my rook. Yeah, the rook is not defended. The queen doesn't defend it. So that pawn is defended. Let's see, could I distract his queen in some way? Now, let's just play here. I want to play knight to knight d5. Knight d4 looks like a good square for the knight, and I can't play it there until I protect it a little bit better. Bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes. That would mess up my pawns. In any case, the pawn's pinned against the queen, so I still can't play. I still cannot play knight to d4. But he's got to do something about his rook, either trade it off or something. And if he trades, then I have this idea of rook to d8 check, king to h7 and knight to h4, hitting his knight here, which is pinned. So yeah, if I can get the queens off and get into an endgame with rook against bishop and equal pawns, that usually is a straightforward win. So that's something I should try. He's trying to go after the f2 pawn. I can play knight to d. Can I play it? Yes, I can play knight to d4 now. Bishop takes, rook takes. I just have to be careful about the back rank. But he has no way to get there immediately. But at some point I should play h3. But let's play knight d4 first. And if he plays f4, if he plays c5, attacking the knight, I'd probably just move it back. But it's in the way of his bishop. And if he continues to push on, so c5, knight f3, c4, then I would take on c4. And that would weaken his pawn structure, create a couple isolated pawns. Okay, that's hitting the back rank. Yeah. But the queen's guarding that square, so even now he's not really threatening to take the knight. Maybe he's threatening his knight to come into one of these squares. Yeah, that's annoying. The knight could come to either h4 or g4. h4 or f4, and threaten mate on h2. So what to do? Okay, just knight back, I guess. I have to figure out some other plan here. Okay, so he's still got a threat of knight to f4. Let's hit the queen. Keep the queen moving. I think I can take away all the squares on the g file from the queen and deal with this knight h4, knight f4 kind of threat, knight h4, knight f4 threat that way by ensuring the queen is not hitting the g2 pawn. Okay, so now the queen's over here. Yeah, let's push a pawn forward. Maybe I can shut down his bishop. He's still not threatening much over here because my queen is guarding the f2 square. So if he attacks the knight, I can just take, for example. So I'm thinking of just playing c5 there and just shutting that bishop down altogether. Maybe though b4 first. b4 c5. Okay, what can he play? He can play a5 to shut down this b4 idea. But I could still just play. Okay, he can put his bishop on. On that square, yeah. Okay, so now queen to d2 hits his queen, and I will trade queens if I get a chance. and it also has the idea of playing the move b4, and it also left the pawn undefended on c4. Okay, but I have check and take the pawn on c7. Well, that's kind of lucky. That doesn't work because of bishop here. So
Server announcement.
queen takes c4. Queen here check. King to h7. Queen takes c7, and then bishop takes f2 check, and I lose my queen. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, what else have I got? I know. Rook. Yeah, rook here. Chase the queen away. And then maybe I can play queen to d8 and c7. Okay, he's hitting this pawn. So queen to d8 check, queen takes c7. I'm threatening his bishop, though.
Check.
And then if the bishop moves, I think the bishop has to move. Can't be defended. And there are no threats because I don't have any loose pieces. Any move allows me to take the bishop and defend the rook. So after the bishop moves, I can just bring my queen back to c2 and once again go after this pinned knight on g6. If nothing better. He may run out of time here. Okay, so that's what I was expecting. So knight h4 is my idea. Just have a rook and queen against rook and bishop, queen and bishop. Queen and rook versus queen and bishop game. Okay, so he's going after the pawns. So knight takes here. He's got to take back first, right? Knight takes, bishop takes, knight moves with check. And that's got to be, isn't that mating? Let's see. Okay, he took back. He didn't have time to calculate it either. That gives me time to put my pawn on a light square. Okay, so he's going for the dark squares. Makes sense. What do I want to do? Okay, yeah, if he just wants to trade, that's good. So I'm getting my rook behind the pawn. That's the point of this maneuver. And he's getting his bishop in front of the pawn. Yeah. And then I will just bring my king over. Here. Threatening check, winning the bishop. That's interesting. So I guess I will put these all in light squares. rather than give up a pawn. Okay, I'm thinking check here and taking the pawn. And also promoting my a pawn, of course, is the other idea. Okay, let's do the check.
Check.
Because he can't get any closer to my pawn, which is interesting. So it just eliminates any threat on the other side of the board. No chance of breakthroughs. So, and then now I can push this pawn forward.
Check.
You know, it's interesting. The pawn is going to be on a dark square over here. So when my king comes in, it's going to be check. What I mean is I want to play king to b6 there to support my pawn. And whenever I play, or to threaten checkmate, and whenever I play that, he has the move bishop to... yeah, that's weird. Okay, let's go after this pawn. We'll just leave that pawn sitting there. He can't move his king anywhere. There's probably better ways to do this. I've not I'm given the most convincing demonstration here. So now this pawn just walks in and mates.
Black resigns.
Okay.
Incoming challenge.
No, I think that's enough. So anyway, I hope those games came out. I will upload them and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.